Join me now from Gilbert, Arizona, representing Arizona's 5th Congressional District, Congressman Andy Biggs. Congressman, thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Stephanie. Always good to be with you.
So first, I want to get your reaction to President Trump's Supreme Court nominee pick. Is this who you were expecting?
Yes, I expected Amy Coney Barrett. She is really well qualified from a legal standpoint, educational standpoint, experience standpoint as a lawyer and judge. And she has, her character is unquestioned. She is really a superior Supreme Court nominee.
Now, the GOP senators have signaled that they're feeling pretty confident that they can get her through this process. But we know that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she has some arrows in a quiver. Do you think that there's anything that's going to prevent Republicans getting done what they want to get done?
I don't think so. I mean, one of those arrows is she's talking about impeachment and that type of thing. She wants to create a disruption and distraction in the House. But that's not going to derail this process in the Senate, that's for sure.
And your thoughts on that? I mean, it seems like House Speaker Nancy Pelosi was backtracking on the idea of impeaching President Trump. It didn't go too well the first round, and I just don't think that that would sit well with voters.
No, I mean, when she backtracked is as soon as we in the Republican conference said, well, you know what, if you're going to impeach, then we have now a reason to take you out as Speaker, and we'll pursue taking you out as Speaker. That immediately caused her to cool down on that. But you know what? She's now talking about impeaching William Barr, the Attorney General. Anything to cause a distraction, and that's a real shame. Real shame.
Yeah, definitely. And we see Democrats, again, they can't really win with ideas, so they always come up with all these crazy schemes. And now they're talking about ending the filibuster. They're talking about packing the court. Is this not a major threat to our democracy?
Oh, absolutely it is. I mean, imagine if every time a president can't accomplish what they want to do, they enlist the help of the legislature to pack the court or add more people on. You know, pretty soon every member of Congress should just say, well, I want my own member of the U.S. Supreme Court. And then you basically undermine the court, which is the judicial system. You undermine the presidency and the executive branch. And you, quite frankly, also undermine the legislative branch.
Yeah. I want to switch topics here. This caught my attention. Fox Business anchor Maria Bartiromo reported that she does not expect the U.S. Attorney John Durham to come forth with any conclusions before the November 3rd election. This is according to her sources. Your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm really bummed by it, but I expected that. I've been told really for about 9 months, I suppose, that it'll come out in 2 weeks, or it'll be 3 weeks, or it's going to be next Friday, but it just hasn't happened. And I don't know why it hasn't happened, but instead they've said things like, well, we're not going to prosecute Andy McCabe. Well, Andy McCabe lied to the FBI. We're not going to indict James Comey. Well, James Comey leaked classified information. And those were admitted. Both of those things were admitted. And so if you can't indict those people, are we just going to indict a bunch of small fry? And that may be important, but you need to go after people who were engaged in the coup attempt.
Yeah. Well, and she went on to say she was being told by her sources that it's now too close to the election and that it could be viewed as politically motivated. But couldn't it be viewed as politically motivated that it didn't come out before the election? And also, it just seems like they've been dragging their heels on this. I feel like we should have known this information, many months ago, even like a year ago.
I agree with you 100%, Stephanie. I mean, I've made that same argument myself. Well, if putting the information and truth out there hinders the election, then don't you hinder the election when you hide the truth, when you hide the facts? And of course you do. And so I agree with you. We should have known this a long, long time ago.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about coronavirus relief. According to some reports, says the stimulus package talks are set to restart. What could this mean for the American people? Could they see relief before November 3rd?
I think the Democrats in the House this week are going to take up a bill that is rumored to be about $2.5 trillion. So it's going to be, you might see that get through, but my guess is you don't see something like that fully get out of the Senate. The other thing to understand is that there's a move to release $133 billion of PPP funding, which is already allocated, already appropriated, but just simply did not get disseminated. So there's some potential for some relief to come out there. It's just how big a package the Democrats want to lay on us, and because it's going to be highly political. They're going to have all kinds of policy things in there they want to control as well.
Yeah. And I believe also this, might be a little bit politically motivated. They know that their constituents and Americans need relief and they need help, but the Democrats, again, they always try to push through their own projects and recklessly spend our taxpayer dollars on other issues that have nothing to do with the main issue. I wanted to ask you about Florida reopening. They're in phase 3 right now. Florida, Arizona, Texas, some of the other states were some of the states to reopen first. In Arizona, Arizona reopened, and then it kind of like backtracked, shut down again, then reopened. So do you think Arizona will move in this direction?
Oh, I pray they do. I mean, so when you talk about relief packages, the best relief package anybody can say is get their job back, open up the economy again, let us move around and engage in the conduct that makes our economies the envy of the world, makes our freedoms recognized around the world, and also the envy of the world. That's really what we should do. I'm real pleased with Governor DeSantis has done a great job leading his state through this, and it's time for Arizona to get back open again.
Yeah, and the typical reaction, people have been pretty hysterical about the reopening of Florida, and so we'll have to see what those numbers look like when it comes to coronavirus cases. But of course, we never talk about how many people who've recovered from the coronavirus. We always seem to focus on just the deaths.
No, that's exactly right. The recovery rate is incredibly high. Most demographics have such a minor or low incident rate. And instead of talking about increased case rate, you should be talking about what's the case mortality rate. You should be talking about what's the hospitalization rate and also what's the recovery rate. And when you see that, all the hysteria that's been out there would actually start dissipating. And as that dissipates, then people are going to feel much more comfortable getting out and living their lives back to normal.
Yeah. And I kind of asked you about this, and you said you would like to see Arizona reopen. What's stopping Arizona from reopening? And we know that Arizona has a Republican governor, so you would think the Republican governor would be moving in that direction.
You know, I'd be lying to you if I said I knew exactly why, because I've been following the metrics in Arizona very, very closely. We should have opened up months ago. We're ready to. I don't know what the governor's motivation is, and I don't know what his public health bureaucrats' motivation is either. But I can tell you, just being out in the community, people are ready in Arizona to open up this state again.
Yeah. I wanted to get your reaction to, I guess, Trump's tax returns. This is predictable. They do this all the time. They've been asking for it since 2015, 2016. And it's kind of like the same story over and over again. And I think at the end of the day, like, regular Americans don't care. Everyday people don't care about Trump's tax returns. I'd actually like to see Hunter Biden's tax returns.
Yeah, I'm with you on both of those. I just think people don't care anymore. I think the diehards, the crazos that really are looking every day, they need a new injection of a reason to hate Donald Trump. I think they'll be going for it for a day or two, but then it'll dissipate. There'll be some other reason to hate him. But I'm wondering about Hunter Biden. How much did he get from the Ukraine? How much did he get from Russia? How much did he take out of China? What's that all about? I mean, that's an investigation I think that should be pursued in both the Congress and in the Department of Justice. But this notion of his tax returns, I just don't think it's going to be a big deal. It's not going to be a straw that stirs the drink here.
Yeah, and we see like Democratic operatives and their allies in the media are continue to drop these like bombshells every single day before the election because that's what they do. Of course, a lot of this isn't verified. It's mistruths, half-truths, and this is just what we can expect going forward. Really quickly, where will you be watching this first debate between President Trump and Biden?
I'll be in D.C., probably going over to a friend's house.
Any predictions?
Yeah, I think don't be surprised if Joe Biden shows up with a mask, sunglasses, and a ball cap, and sounding like Hillary Clinton. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he'll even know where he's at. That'll be a big accomplishment if he knows exactly where he's at.
That's right, and I think President Trump has to walk the line. You don't want to beat up on somebody who's not capable. You know what I mean? And so he's going to lay his case out, but I think he's got to be careful a little bit too.
Yeah, well, I'm certainly looking forward to this debate. That's for sure. Well, we'll leave it here, Congressman. Thank you.